Now, there are certain loopholes of Bitcoin, dark side of Bitcoin. One of the most serious loophole of Bitcoin is that the giant ledger list, which is the blockchain of Bitcoin, is a very heavy file today, and it is growing. So it is already 200 GB heavy blockchain. The current size of Bitcoin, which is so heavy and has very few companies maintain the full size file, so-called full node, full nodes. Very few companies. Those are the companies which actually benefit from Bitcoin mining the most. They make a lot of money out of it. So there are not many such companies, and they actually maintain the full size of the file. So the other small time Bitcoin mining companies or entities, they keep something called, the half node or partial node, the lightweight version of Bitcoin blockchain. So that does not serve the purpose. It defeats the very purpose of the scattered and decentralized spread of the official copy of the Bitcoin blockchain. So there is a accusation on this, that there is certain kind of centralization happening, because very few companies, which are very large companies, they maintain the full node. So they actually control the the verification process. So that is, one of the major loophole which Bitcoin has. And probably when this concept was created, it was not realized that one day the Bitcoin blockchain will become so large that it will be 200 GB heavy and still growing. Another problem with the Bitcoin is that there is a common software which is used by 97% of the miners of Bitcoin, and this is called Bitcoin core software. It is manufactured and developed by a particular large company only, and hence they control the architecture. Moreover, the software company has few people. The company which manufactures this, which produces and maintain this Bitcoin core software, has very few people who understand the whole concept and the whole system of the software. And therefore, very few people are able to control the actual architecture of the software and the algorithm and the rules and the codes. So again, it defeats the very philosophy of Bitcoin, which is the decentralized, scattered, multi-node kind of cryptocurrency, where very large pool of people verify the official blockchain. So intervention of single entity or single organization or a small group of people in an organization defeats the purpose of the Bitcoin and its philosophy. So that is the another loophole of Bitcoin. The third major loophole of the Bitcoin is the monopolization of the computing powers. Only a few top mining pools and rigs in the world, they mine majority of the Bitcoins, and therefore they are able to control the major portion of the computing powers. Now, if that happens, there is very strong possibilities of the future so-called 51% attack. So what is the meaning of this? That anybody who is able to control at a given time 51, more than 51% of the computational power, there is a possibility of manipulation of the data and the transactions in new blocks. It is possible. So it has happened in the past also. So it's not that it has not happened. Already these kind of attacks has happened, and these kind of attacks are possible. So you cannot very definitely say in this situation that Bitcoin is absolutely secure and safe. So that is not true. Now, the fourth major loophole of the Bitcoin is that there are very few hardware makers in the market. So you actually require special hardware for mining Bitcoins because you need the computational hardware specifically made for the continuous work, continuous computation work, and long hours of special kind of computations. So it should be based on something what is called as Bitcoin ASICs based hardware, which is monopolized by a few Chinese companies, and particularly one Chinese company which actually pioneered the manufacture of Bitcoin ASICs. So they actually control the 70% to 80% of the world market of this hardware. So if that is the case again, it is a case for alarm. So what happens that in this situation, there is certain kind of centralization, certain kind of monopoly, and there is a possibility that because of the monopoly of the hardware market, it is possible that certain few companies only would be able to mine most of the bitcoins and control the computational power. So these are some of the very important accusations and loopholes and criticism of bitcoins. And not to forget that the climate change and global warming accusation of the excessive use of electricity and energy to run these hardwares for fruitless computation. So, these are some of the uh, dark sides of Bitcoin, which should be known to all of us.